AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that will be linked with a transfer move to Arsenal.
Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. We are back. It's June the 1st and the transfer window is open for business. A different transfer window this year because of the Club World Cup. The transfer window opens early from June the 1st right up till the 10th of June. Then it shuts. Then it opens again on the 16th of June, right up to the 1st of September. So you'll be seeing a lot of me, right? The transfer window has been done this way this year to try and help teams that are playing in that Club World Cup to get deals done over the line if they, are trying to make signings. We've seen Real Madrid make the signing of Trent Alexander-Arnold so that he can play at the Club World Cup. So that's kind of the purpose of it. But we've seen a lot of clubs sort of trying to get business done earlier than usual, and Arsenal no exception to that. Just before we get into those transfers, just got to say congratulations going out to Paris Saint-Germain, who won the Champions League last night very easily. I think that shows you, after their 5-0 demolition of Inter Milan in the final, that shows you how difficult that semi-final was that we had against PSG. A little bit different to playing Bodo Glimt in a semi-final, I'd say, Tottenham fans, you know what I mean, as you could see. But listen, they won it last night. And do you know what? You know what got me thinking about that? They've dumped all the superstars, haven't they? Like, remember they used to sign Neymar, Messi, all these sort of players to try and win them the Champions League. In the end, as this turned out, it's been great recruitment of players like Doué and Kvaratskhelia, which has, managed to get them over the line, and not necessarily those big headline Galactico type names. And it just goes to show you how important good recruitment is. And they were deserving winners of it, and they were absolutely brilliant. But this is a big summer for Arsenal Football Club, a big summer for Mikel Arteta. And I mean, probably his biggest ever window, because he's under a lot of pressure now. After you saw PSG, they haven't got over the line in the Champions League, but they have now. Arsenal still haven't done that. Runners up also in the league 3 years in a row. I think there's a universal sort of chatter going around that it could be very, very critical that Mikel Arteta wins the league next season, or at least wins a major trophy. And he's only going to do that if he can improve this squad. It's a good squad. It's a good team. Suffered a lot from the injuries last season. But now fans want the team to get over the line. And the signings that he makes this summer are going to be really, really important. And of course, it's no longer Edu at the helm. It's a new sporting director in Andrea Berta. There's also going to be a lot of eyes on him to see what does he do? How does he improve the squad? And it's going to take a few factors. It's all about three things, I think, when you look at the requirements for Arsenal this summer. First of all, tying down contracts of some of the key players at Arsenal. You don't want to see none of your sort of big and key players walking away. Then it's all about getting rid of players that, are kind of surplus to requirements now. That's going to have to be a task for Andrea Berta. And then, of course, signing some of those important players that we need. A striker, forward players, goalkeeper as well. We need a backup goalkeeper, holding midfield player. It is a huge, huge transfer window for Arsenal Football Club. So let's get into some of the transfer rumours that are flying around today. The big one, Martin Zubimendi. Now, I heard in January, is when I first heard about this one, that this was already done in January, that he's already agreed to join Arsenal and that it would be done in the summer. That's what I was hearing at the time. The rumours have grown stronger and stronger over the last couple of weeks that Martin Zubimendi will become an Arsenal player for around about £51 million. Bit of a coup this for Arsenal, because remember last season he was all set to go to Liverpool. He didn't go. We've been chasing him for a couple of seasons. Real Madrid was showing big interest in him. So were Barcelona. but it looks like he will be joining Arsenal sometime this month and could be the first signing of this summer transfer window. Would be a great signing. We know, of course, that Jorginho has now left the club. He's gone to join Flamengo over there in Brazil. So need a holding midfielder. And Martin Zubimendi, one of the best in the business at the moment. Very, very good on the ball. Calm in front of that back four. And, you know, if you can get him in there and playing really, really well, that will release Declan Rice to do what we saw him doing brilliantly last year, which was getting up box to box. So one to watch. Could be the first signing for Arsenal this summer, and that is Martin Zubimendi. But even though I know a lot of you will be very, very happy with that signing, you're all waiting in anticipation for one position, and that is a striker, a centre forward. We all know that that is the big thing we've been lacking. Season after season after season, I come and I do this show and I'm like, surely we're going to sign a striker. And we don't. And it's cost us. Now, honestly, if Arsenal don't sign a striker this summer, it is a gross dereliction of duty. They must. And I think they will. And there's two big candidates at the moment for that striking role. Let's talk about the first one. He looks like he's the favourite to sign for Arsenal, and that is Benjamin Sesko of RB Leipzig. Now, still a young player, really growing in his trade, but Arsenal said to be really, really interested in him. They've been chasing him for a couple of seasons, but he's decided each time to stay at RB Leipzig, particularly last summer. They were in for him. He said he was going to stay. January, again, he said, nope, I'm staying at RB Leipzig, right? Now, though, it looks like he will be on the move this summer. And could he be coming to Arsenal? Sky Germany reporting that the Arsenal sporting director, Andrea Berta, held secret talks with Marcel Schaefer, who's the sporting director of RB Leipzig, to discuss payment terms and getting this deal done. Lots of the rumours are saying it's going to cost around about 70 million. Some are saying 75. I've seen some go as high as 94 million. It won't be that. It's going to be around about 70, 75 million. And that's sort of with all the sort of variables of his release clause. Because when he signed his last contract, they put this release clause in there. But there's lots of variables in there. You know, how many games he plays, how many goals he scores. Working it out, it looks like it's around about 70, 75 million pounds. Max, they were said to be discussing a payment structure to get this deal done, and he could become Arsenal's striker signing for this summer. It's split opinion amongst Arsenal fans. There's a lot of Arsenal fans who are saying, yes, he looks like a good player, but is he prolific enough for what we require? 13 league goals this season, 5 assists in the league. In 33 matches. That doesn't suggest a prolific striker. That's more or less what we're getting out of Havertz. We want somebody who's going to score more, but then we're being told about how he has a very high ceiling. Remember, a very, very young player. You know, there's been talk that, you know, from some of the experts that he could become the best striker in the world in the next couple of seasons. Problem is, Mikel Arteta, the pressure's on you for next season, not the next couple. Is this signing going to be enough to bring us the goals that we require? Is he going to be prolific enough? It's so hard to judge because, listen, when Alexander Isak came in at Newcastle, he wasn't prolific over there for Real Sociedad, but he's become that striker. But do we have time to wait for someone to become that striker? Or should we be going for another target? And we all know who that person is right now. That's Viktor Gyökeres of Sporting CP. 26, valued at around about 67 million pounds. Definitely leading Sporting off, leading them to winning the league yet again. His goal-scoring record is ridiculous. 54 goals in all competitions last season. 39 goals in the league and 8 assists. Prolific goal scorer. He's done this now season after, 2 seasons in a row at Sporting, and they've won the league. Before that, at Coventry, he scored goals. And before you say, well, Championship, can he convert that into the Premier League? I mean, I saw a player last night. I was at Brentford for the Jamaica versus Nigeria game, and Ivan Toney was there in the stands. He came from the Championship, and look how good he's become. England international as well. We've seen other players come from the Championship. Ollie Watkins was from the Championship. Brian Mbeumo was from the Championship. Mitrovic, Championship. And they've all gone on to replicate those goals in the Premier League. So I don't think it would be a worry. I do think he would score goals. But where is he going to end up? And do Arsenal actually want him as their priority signing? It's said to be one of the two. There's been rumours that Andrea Berta prefers Viktor Gyökeres and Mikel Arteta prefers Benjamin Sesko. But where is he going to end up? 26 compared to 22 of Sesko. He's actually going to be 27 on the 4th of June. So a lot older. But do you go for the instant goals now? Or do you go for like Sesko that's going to be, in 4 or 5 years' time still going? That is going to be the decision that's going to have to be made. But it's looking like one of those two. There are other teams interested in Gyökeres as well. Chelsea said to be interested. Napoli are very, very heavily interested. I've seen where Antonio Conte has said, to the Napoli president, go and get him. Where will he end up? There's been rumours of Barcelona, but it looks like they're going to stick with, Lewandowski. But it's going to be very intriguing to see what Arsenal do. Will it be Sesko or will it be Gyökeres? And I'm asking you guys today, Sesko or Gyökeres, who do you want to sign for Arsenal and why? Let me know in the comments. Going to be very, very interested. Still, other signings being linked. There's lots of them, actually. Rodrygo's the next one. Of course, exciting Brazilian player who plays for Real Madrid. It's been heavily linked with Arsenal over the last couple of weeks. Rumours that Real Madrid would be willing to sell him for around about 100 million euros. That's around about 84 million pounds. And listen, he would be an exciting signing. The sort of signing that you see and you're running down to the club shop to get his name on the back of your shirt. He's had a bit of an up and down season at Real Madrid. A little bit of drop off towards the end of the season. Remembered over the 2 legs against Arsenal. He was absolutely anonymous in the Champions League. But Xavi Alonso, the new manager at Real Madrid, has signalled that in a recent press conference that they'd like to keep him. But if the right fee comes in, Real Madrid could be tempted to let him go. Arsenal and Chelsea, the 2 teams said to be very, very interested in signing him. I don't think there'll be any movement on this at all until at least after the Club World Cup. And as I said, that begins on the 15th of June. But Rodrygo, would he make a good signing for Arsenal? Could Arsenal actually bring him in? We could do it an upgrade on that left wing. That seems to be, I wouldn't say a problem area, but an area which we should really look about upgrading. We've got great options on the right wing. But on the left wing, is it prolific enough? He would certainly represent an exciting signing. Another player that's been heavily linked for that left wing position is Rafael Leão of AC Milan. Again, exciting player, Portuguese international, valued at around about £64 million. There's been various rumours over the past couple of weeks linking him with a move to Arsenal. 12 goals in all competitions this season, or should I say last season, 13 assists. And his contract runs till 2028. So, listen, again, it won't be an easy deal to do. But, with AC Milan finishing 8th in the league, they may be willing to sell to free up some funds to go out there and bring in some players. They've really been in the doldrums the last couple of seasons. Bayern Munich said to be the other team that are very, very interested in trying to make this signing. But Rafael Leão, one to keep our eyes on over this transfer window. As is Nico Williams, another player, a bit like Sesko, that Arsenal were trying to prize away last summer. They were unable to do that. He ended up staying at Athletic Bilbao. Decent season for him. Bilbao, they got to the semi-finals of the Europa League, lost to Manchester United, but they did make the Champions League, which could be something that might tempt him to stay. A lot of these players that play for these Basque clubs are pretty loyal. We've seen it with Zubimendi. We saw it with Nico Williams last season. Will he stay at Bilbao another season to play in the Champions League, or will he finally make that move? Still very young at 22, really exciting left winger. But rumours are Arsenal interested again in trying to make this happen. It won't be cheap. It'll demand very high wages as well, but one to keep an eye on as well in this transfer window. And then there's Leroy Sane, who's been heavily linked with Arsenal. 29 now, so, getting a bit older, but again, he can play right wing, can also play on the left. And there's been contract discussions going on between him and Bayern Munich. His contract's up. Bayern Munich want to keep him. They want to sign him to a new deal, but as of yet, they haven't done so. Negotiations have been continuing. But should he leave Bayern Munich, he could be an option for Arsenal. Mikel Arteta, of course, knows him from his days at Manchester City. Would be a cheaper alternative to a Rodrygo or a Nico Williams, Rafael Leão, and a very, very talented player. But could he end up at Arsenal or could he end up somewhere else? Chelsea interested. They seem to be interested in everybody we're interested in. Spurs also interested in him. Remember, they got Champions League football as well. 11 goals in the Bundesliga last season. Could he be an option for Arsenal? And then there's Kenan Yildiz, who's emerged as a name that is interested in Arsenal. 19 years of age, had a breakout season for Juventus last year. Said to be interested in Arsenal, according to some outlets over there in Turkey. 6 goals and 2 assists in 33 appearances. Not prolific, I guess, but a prospect. But is that what we're looking for? Prospects? Or are we looking for someone who's going to be ready-made? And is he better than Martinelli? Is he better than Trossard? Whoever comes in that position for me has to be better, has to take it to the next level. So I'm going to be interested what Arsenal do for that left winger position, because it certainly looks like striker, left winger are 2 positions that Arsenal are really, really looking at for this, for this summer transfer window. Now, what about Joan García, the goalkeeper from Espanyol? Again, last transfer window in the summer was heavily linked with Arsenal. Arsenal were trying to get that deal done, couldn't get it done. He ended up staying at Espanyol. Espanyol had a horrendous season. They managed to stay up only on the last day of the season. And it looks like Joan García is going to be leaving this summer transfer window. As I said, they only survived relegation on the final day. He was considered one of the best goalkeepers in Spain. Problem that Arsenal have got now is that when you've got that tag, do you want to be coming to Arsenal to play as a number 2? Because let's face it, David Raya, again winning the Golden Glove 2 years in a row, is going to be the number 1. Garcia will be number 2. He's been tempted by many other clubs, including Barcelona, and it's starting to look like that is where he's going to end up, that he's going to end up in Barcelona, and Arsenal will miss out on the guy who was their number 1 target for their number 2 to David Raya. So starting to look like that ain't going to happen, and that means that Arsenal are going to have to start looking again in the transfer market to see if they can find a goalkeeper who can come in as number 2. And listen, number 2 goalkeepers are important. I know Raya, he played literally every game apart from 1 last season, and Neto didn't figure. But what if he had got injured? You've always got to have a good number 2 keeper, but it's not looking like it's going to be Joan Garcia. Starting to look like he is heading to Barcelona. Listen, as well as making new signings, as I said right at the start of the show, holding on to your best players is very, very important. And it's great news that it looks like Gabriel Magalhães is about to sign a brand new contract at Arsenal. A very, very important player for Arsenal. Of course, got injured in March. We haven't seen him since. Should be back, of course, for the new season. Last season, he was brilliant. Last couple of seasons, he's been brilliant. He's a leader on the pitch. He's a rocking defence. And from set pieces, he's brilliant. And remember last season, he nearly ended up going to Saudi Arabia. I was over in Saudi Arabia a couple of months ago, and I was hearing rumours that they're going to be coming back in for him this summer. Hence why Arsenal have moved quickly to try and get him signed up to a new deal. It looks like a new deal is going to get signed, keeping him at the club until at least 2030. This will be great news for Arsenal. As I said, one of our most important players, and it looks like Gabriel Magalhães is going to be signing a new deal to stay at Arsenal. As it looks like Thomas Partey will also be staying. Remember, he can now leave at the end of this month on a free contract. His contract at Arsenal is up. But despite having a horrendous injury record throughout his time at Arsenal last season, he was injury-free and he was excellent. A stalwart in that midfield. He played at times at right back. Even the last game against Southampton, he was playing as a centre-back. I mean, so versatile. And with Jorginho leaving and Zubimendi set to come in, I think having somebody like Thomas Partey still around is a good move by Arsenal. He can still be playing in that role, and then we can ease Zubimendi in. This Premier League is an unforgiving league and very hard to hit the ground running, as players like Miko Marino found out last season. So being able to ease Zubimendi in and also being able to have that backup to Zubimendi or the two of them battling out for that place is it just makes perfect sense. Long term, we know Thomas Partey is going to move on, but it makes perfect sense to give him another contract. Looks like it's going to be a 1-year deal with an option of another year. He is 31 now. It looks like Thomas Partey will be signing a new deal at Arsenal. And it also looks like Myles Skelly is set for a brand new deal at Arsenal, which will put him on big wages. Of course, he'll be on small wages at the moment because he came through the youth team and had his breakout season last year when, sort of almost came in as a bit of an emergency. But he's really established himself, not only for Arsenal, but even for England. In the England squad for those friendlies next week. And Arsenal want to make sure that they tie him down to a long-term contract and also to reward him for his excellent season with a new wage package. So that looks like it's going to be happening soon because there has been rumours that Real Madrid very interested in signing him. So listen, they need to get that done. I don't think he's going to be going anywhere. But you've got to reward him with the right amount of money, and it looks like that's what they're going to be doing. Just to talk about some of the players that look like, they're going to be moving on. As I said, Jorginho, he's left. He's gone to Flamengo over there in Brazil. Marquinhos has moved on to Brazil into Cruzeiro. Kieran Tierney's contract's up. You saw him saying his goodbyes after scoring a goal on the final day of the season for Arsenal. Looks like he's going to be heading to Celtic, but he's leaving on a free. Neto, of course, who came in from Bournemouth last year on loan, only played one game in the Champions League against Girona. He's going to be returning back to Bournemouth. His contract's up. And Raheem Sterling just didn't work out for him at all at Arsenal. He is returning to Chelsea as his deal comes to an end. And then there's some other contracts and, futures to be sorted out of many other players at Arsenal. What's going to happen with Fabio Vieira? Spent the year on loan over there at Porto. He's going to be returning. Albert Sambi Lokonga, who's on loan at Marseille. At Sevilla. He's returning as well. Rumoured that Arsenal are offering him a year extension on his contract, but it does look like they're probably going to move him out on loan again or try and sell him. Zinchenko, what happens with him? Again, the rumours are that if the right offer comes in, Arsenal will be willing to sell him. There's Trossard, who's still in negotiations with Arsenal over a new contract, but if that can't be sorted out, expect him to be on the move as well. And then there's other players like Reece Nelson, got injured, is having a great time of it at Fulham on loan, but he's got injured, so he'll be returning. But will Arsenal attempt to try and sell him? Nuno Tavares, who had a great season at Lazio, looks like he'll be sold by Arsenal this summer. And Carl Hein, who is also on loan over there in Spain, probably will get sold as well this summer if Arsenal can find a number 2 goalkeeper. So lots of work to be done by Mikel Arteta and the brand new sporting director, Andrea Berta. And we're going to be keeping you all over it right here on AFTV in Transfer Daily, which will run all the way until the 1st of September. I'll be with you every day, keeping you up to date with all of the transfer rumours. And we got a new feature on Transfer Daily this season, and it's called a Rumour Rater. It's where I rate, I pick a player out and I rate the rumour from cold right up to hot. The player I've decided to look at today is Rafael Leão of AC Milan. As I said, heavily linked with a move to Arsenal. But is this a hot rumour or is this a cold rumour? I'm not sure about this one. Bayern Munich said to be very interested in him. AC Milan could let him go. Exciting player. I'd love to see him at Arsenal. I think that would be, if you've got Saka, Gyökeres or Sesko, Rafael Leão, I mean, that's exciting for me. Then you got options if that ain't quite working to bring your Martinellis and people like that on. I mean, that would be very exciting for me. But I'm going to put this one as a medium rumour. I'm going to say this is sort of warm. I'm describing this as warm, not hot, not cold, but warm. So let's see what happens with that. And I'm just going to be really interested to see Andrea Berta, the brand new sporting director, in action. And what sort of, how he does deals. He's a very experienced guy. Does he move quick and get things done? Does he make bold, big, expensive signings? Or does he go for those signings that, maybe are slightly under people's radars? Going to be really interesting to see him in operation this summer transfer window. That's what makes it so interesting, this window. Because there's a new dynamic to how Arsenal are going to be doing deals. So listen, those are the rumours for today. A lot to get your teeth into. We're going to be here every single day, as I said, right throughout the January transfer window. Summer transfer window. So keep it locked here on AFTV. And also don't forget, across all of our platforms, whether it be Instagram, TikTok, we'll be keeping you up to date. If there's any breaking news around any signings, we will have it here first. So make sure you keep it locked here on AFTV, and I'll see you in the morning.